Do you know what I'd love, Miles? I was just smiling when you're answering that question. I'd love for someone to ask that question to Tom Wagner. see what he said.
Yeah.
Because I think he would give a very, very strong answer to that, you know.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And we're back today with another Questions from the Fans podcast. And it's a huge thank you from myself and Dad for everyone that submitted a question. And we've broke this down into 3 separate videos. So if you don't see your question in this video, don't worry. It might possibly feature in the next 2 podcasts. So Dad, should we get straight into it? Should I fire the first question?
Yeah, far away.
Yeah. So the first one is from BCFC 1875. Thank you very much for your question. And it starts off by saying some very good questions here and some not too easy to answer. But my question is, realistically, the owners want promotion to the Premier League. We as fans also want to be back. How many more players of quality, not bench warmers, do you think we need? I reckon 2 more. Keep eye on.
Yeah, I think this is a common question because of all the business we've done in the transfer market so far and the strength of the squad we currently have. It's actually identifying what do we still need. Now, a lot of this is going to depend upon what goes as well in terms of, you know, there's going to be players that we know that are going to be sold. So we're going to need more depth in certain positions. I think we need more than 1 or 2, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think we need.
Remember, not bench warmers.
None of these aren't bench warmers because these are players that are actually going to compete for first team places. Another left back. I know that we got Lee Buchanan coming back off injury, but we don't know how long he's going to be. That could be January. We need competition in the first half of the season at the very least for Alex Cochrane. So I think we need another left back, high quality left back, and a left footed, you know, flying wing back as well. So it's not just going to be the traditional what was old style left back, a proper, you know, like you know, the equivalent on the right-hand side with Bright and Ethan Laird. I think we need left back. I think we need another centre-half. I'd love that to be Ben Davies. I think we might even need 2.
Really?
Yeah, it depends because I can see, obviously, Sanderson's going to go. Yeah. If Bielek stays, which I hope he does, we'll just need 1. But I definitely think we need 1 at the very least.
And a left-footed Ben Davies
fits
the bill
that's
perfectly.
That's what I'd say. Fits the bill perfectly. I think we need another right winger. A number 10 and a tall physical striker. I'm not asking for much, am I? But, you know, this was like a question that really sort of made me think, because it's all right saying what do we need, but what do we really need to provide that quality in all those positions? In my opinion, that's 5 or 6 players I've suggested there. That's what I think we need currently.
I actually think, Dad, the right wing is the most pressing position for me. I think that's a glaring gap in the team. And if we get that right, I think we're going to be a real force next season. The number 10 as well. Yeah. I think one of our marquee signings coming in this summer is going to be a 10 or a right wing. I still believe that.
We know, Matt, on that Fujimoto could play in either of those positions, but we need more depth than that as well.
Depth.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me, Dad, Fujimoto is more of a 10. He can play out on the right, which again is even more certainty that we need a full-on, strongest position right wing player. I agree. Left back cover to challenge Cochrane because Buchanan's not going to be back until January. But for me, Dad, we've had a fantastic summer in terms of recruitment. It's just little pockets we need to add a bit more depth to. Yeah. So next question, Dad, is from Boston Brum 5288. Love how engaging the podcast are, gents. Thank you very much for the positive feedback. My question is, the new stadium will need new names for each side, as we won't want to be Tilton Road Cop. I would love to see the Gil Merrick carried over for one side, the Arthur stand for another, just for awareness and recognition alone, the Trevor Francis stand, and personally the Hatton stand for me. What would you gents name the 4 stands if given the opportunity to name them? To add to that, maybe even a Garrison or Peaky Blinders bar inside. Thank you, Andy. Keep on.
Yeah, there is another link question under that as well, as which is from Mark Green, which is very close to that question. Mark says, I would like to know what you guys think the name of the new ground might be called, and what do you think? Do you think it will be intimidating as Knighthead Park? Keep up the good work, lads. So thanks for that question as well. So 2 questions there. One is about the naming of the stands, and the other is about the name of the stadium. So let's do the stadium first, because there's so much speculation about that, isn't there, as well? It's going to be I think it's going to be a named stadium in terms of a sponsor-linked stadium. So I'd go, again, this is only a suggestion, I'd go for the Delta, if it's Delta, Knighthead Arena, something like that. Delta Knighthead Arena.
I'd love to just remove the sponsorship element of the Delta and just have the Knighthead. I mean, it would just make it that extra bit moody, that extra bit hostile. Yeah. And I get it. I'm not, we've said on previous podcasts that we have to get used to this American ownership of our club. Yeah. We are going to have sponsorship deals on stands and bars and stadiums. I get it, but for me, taking that out and just having the Knighthead element to it is a lot more. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure. No, I think you're right. I'm just making a point.
I'd like us to keep in some. I don't know, so somewhere St.Andrews, because everybody knows St.Andrews. But I think if we're moving to a new ground, it's a new era.
New identity,
new
almost.
identity. You know, I love St Andrews. I've loved it. That's all we've ever known, isn't it? All of our lives, and that every fan will say that. That's all we've ever known. But I think for moving on, I think something is going to be a sponsor named with probably something like Nice Header Inn or something like that.
Yeah.
As far as the stands go, why not? Why can't we keep the Tilton Road? Because the way where the stadium's going to be, it goes the rest of the Tilton Road over the other side of Garrison Lane carries on, doesn't it?
Or don't reference road, just the Tilton.
Yeah, the Tilton,
because it takes the road element out of it, so it takes the geography out of it. So
again, I can see us having a stand called the Cop. But why not call it the Trevor Francis Cop?
Yeah.
Something like that.
But again, Dad, just to challenge you a little bit, you mentioned about St Andrews and new identity, new club. Wouldn't new stand names represent a new fresh start as well?
Yeah, that's true, and that's a good point. But then the Trevor Francis Cop,
or
you could have a named player like the Matt O'Neill Tilton Road end or something like
BCFC
that.
Royal Blue end. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I think the naming I think there'll be a lot of thought go into the naming of the stands. I mean, the suggestion from Boston Brum there was the Hatton stand. I mean, he's referring to Bob Hatton, a proper player from the Trevor Francis era. But there'll be no shortage. I think the Gilmerick will probably, again, maybe that might be transferred over into one of the stands, and they might even decide to continue with the Arthur stand or something like that as a tribute to Arthur Lavinjo Hughes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I presume that I think the club will consult on this and to get the fans' opinion of what
I think if a complete stand isn't named after Arthur, Dad, there should still be an area named after
Arthur.
I
think there will.
So at the minute, it's Arthur's area. And that, to me, is a wonderful sentiment. You know, that story is so tragic and it hit the hearts of everyone in this community.
Yeah.
We need to bring that forward in some way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would love for Trevor Francis to be recognised in the new stadium somehow. We all know we have the statue for the Nottingham Forest game. Well, I think it's going to happen, the reveal for the statue.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to reveal for the Nottingham Forest game. Again, a Trevor Francis stand would be amazing, wouldn't it? Just
the Trevor Francis Cop would work well for me. But so something like that. But it is a very emotive one, isn't it? Because obviously fans have got different emotional links to different players, and but I'm sure the club will do this sensitively. And it's a great question because you obviously the stadium's not even built yet, but it's good that people are thinking about this, and maybe that will be fed back in to to the club as the project starts to develop.
I think that's got quite a name to it, the Garrison end or the Garrison stand. Because again, it's not just that element to the Peaky Blinders. It is, but there's also a military element to it, isn't it, as well?
Garrison. He's talking about Boston Brum's talking about the Garrison Bar or some area of the Peaky Blinders. I mean, the stadium's going to be massive. I'm sure there's going to be room for all sorts of different namings all the way around the stadium. But that's a great question. Really enjoyed that.
That is a good question because it's a bit different. It takes it off the football element to it and kind of gives it that emotional element to the new stadium and where we're going and stuff like that. So all I want to see, Dad, is I agree with you, and I do agree that we need not a new identity. We'll always have our DNA as a club and as a fan base, but a new start, let's say. Yeah. But I still want to carry some historical elements with us.
They will,
like the Trevor Francis, like the whole.
The club will.
Definitely.
There's all sorts they've got to think about, Matt. And again, well, I don't want to get into conversation just about the stadium here, but obviously you've got all of those commemorative bricks and tiles that'll all be moved to the new stadium. You've got people's remains that have been scattered on the pitch, so I'm presuming that they'll take the soil from there and take it to the new stadium. So I'm pretty sure the club would be very, very sensitive about all these type of things. So but great question that.
I'm putting out there the Gary O'Neill stand.
Stop it.
So next question, Daz, from Trevor Bishop G-G3B. With the board's obvious intent on getting into the top flight ASAP, does this have a negative impact on the academy players breaking through, who perhaps might not be given the opportunity they'd have in the team if the team was struggling?
Yes, of course, it's going to have a negative effect. We've seen this, as teams like in the Premier League, start to progress. They end up, instead of bringing or looking at their current talent, most of them will just go and pay a fortune for another player. I think that will happen as well for us as we get progressively better and better and stronger. I don't like that, by the way, but I just think that's just the nature of the way things are. We are now a Category 1 football club in terms of our academy, so there's a lot of benefit to develop your younger players and then bring them. I mean, look at Zaid Boteka, for example. He came in for the pre-season friendly against Seville. It looked really, really good, and you think he could be one that could sort of develop. But what the question is asking is what are the chances of them getting into the not what are the chances they could become good players? What are the chances of them getting into our first team? In my opinion, I think it gets more and more difficult with the type and standard of quality of players we're buying.
It still happens though, you have got Bellingham at Blues, you've got Phil Foden at Man City, Grealish at Villa. There are players that do make it through the system and manage to break into the first team. But I think this one's a double-edged sword for me, because I agree with the sentiment of the question. It's always going to be difficult for your youth players to come through if the standard's so high that you're already playing world-class players. But the academy will thrive. The academy will be stronger, will attract better talent, the facilities will be better, the coaches will be better. So actually, I think we'll see more young talent develop and sold, and it will all be good for the Blues and for the club, and we will attract some younger talent. And I think we've proven that as a club, we're willing to invest in our youth academy system, offering all the youth players contracts when Knighthead first came in, and we've seen developments in that area. So there's no doubt Knighthead have committed to taking care of our young players, our youth players, and the academy system. So it's a double one for me. I think we will have a better system and a better academy. But to the element to this question, they will struggle to get into the first team.
And that's what the question is.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for me with the academy system.
I think the club will attract good young talent now because of the facilities, because of the academy. But I do think progressively it gets much more difficult. You'd have to attract an absolutely outstanding prospect to have a chance to break in. So what have we done recently? We've sold Ramel Donovan. Okay, we got good money for him. 5 million, I think it was something like that. We sold Jordan James, yes, he went, didn't he? We got good money for him as
Jude
well.
Jude
and Job, we got good money for them as well. And Brandon Keeler recently went to Peterborough. I don't know what the fee was for him, but we got a fee for him, I believe.
We have George Hall on the books as well.
Yeah, Alfie Chang. So we've got a history. Damari Gray. So we've got a history of producing quality young players. But the question actually asks, what are the chances of these breaking into our first team? And they're good players, and we can develop them. And maybe over time they can, if they're outstanding, they'll get a chance. But I think the chances reduce. Whereas in previous years we might have had to use younger players more because we didn't have.
We saw
needed them to fill the gaps basically.
We saw George Hall getting a lot more game time under the Eustace era, and because we had to use George Hall because we didn't have the squad depth. That's not me saying George Hall isn't a good player, but it's irrelevant to this question that we were playing our youth players a lot more, like you just said, that because we had to.
Yes, but that won't happen now. That's not such an issue now, isn't it?
Exactly. Okay, brilliant, Dad. So our next question is from Just My Fish, a regular comment on the channel. Thank you very much. I'd love to know your name. I always see Just My Fish, and I'm always should I respond Fish?
I do. When I put the community posts up, I do ask people to put their names, but most people don't. So they just put their handle, that's why we refer to as handle.
And there's no pressure to put your name.
No, if you don't want to, that's fine.
I do see Just My Fish. It does make me giggle. I wonder who that is. But yeah, there's a big question. I'm only going to read the red bit, Dad, and then you can allude to the finer details in the answer, because it is a big question. Why do we have to use Ticketmaster to buy tickets? Why can't the club run this in-house?
Yeah, so a bit of context, because the question had a bit of detail in terms of why this question was asked, and Just My Fish was talking about, why does my son and my wife have to have an individual client reference number, and why? And I don't like this as well, but they said, why am I charged a booking fee 3 times, one per ticket,
ridiculous,
for every single transaction? I think that is completely. Obviously, we know why, but it's not doesn't make it right.
Also, we buy tickets 40-odd times a season. Actually, if you take the season tickets out of it, but we're buying tickets all the time. Every booking fee adds up to a fortune.
Yeah, so it does. Well, it will do, because by the time you've added on the booking fees and everything else. But what he's actually saying as well is, is that it's a Ticketmaster problem. It doesn't necessarily mean, but thinks that maybe the club should think about ditching Ticketmaster and then bringing in-house staff to do it. There's another question linked to this a little bit as well, which is by David Lewis. Thank you for the question, David, which I'll read this out because it's part of the same conversation. The question from David was, as an occasional fan, what chance will there be to get a ticket for any home match? I know away matches are impossible. What will happen to prices? I worry about how prices will rocket and availability plummet. So 2 questions relating to tickets there.
Yeah, hit the Ticketmaster part first, Dad. See what you think.
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think the club will ditch Ticketmaster. I think it's from the club's perspective, it's an efficient system. They basically we know that the buying the online tickets, and we've said before, from our point of view, it's much easier for us to get tickets in terms of buying them online now than years ago. I'm sure you Blues fans remember, particularly for the big games, you'd have to queue up at St.Andrews and you'd be there hours sometimes, particularly for the finals and stuff like that. So Ticketmaster or electronic system purchasing tickets is the way that basically every team does it. I can't see Blues ditching it. But having said that, I understand your frustrations.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Completely understand your frustrations, and maybe that's something we should feed back to the club. Why we're allowing Ticketmaster, and that might be part of Ticketmaster's terms and conditions, in that they say, well, that's just what we charge.
Also, as well, Dad, if the Blues ticket office was absolutely all over it and amazing and efficient and quick, I think to myself, yeah, why can't they bring it in-house? But the ticket office often is always getting things wrong. There's always delays. There's always... Oh, by the way, I don't want to speak negatively about my own club, but we can all agree the ticket office is a particular part of frustration at this club. Even taking Ticketmaster out of the equation, if you want to phone them or talk to them. So bringing it in-house scares me in case, then they have full control over it. But I totally get it. Ticketmaster frustrates me as well. I guess if I'm going to just give a positive argument to the side of the argument as well, is I do like the fact that I can do it on my phone in 20 seconds. As soon as the tickets go up, me and you have got away tickets, and it has that client reference number, so it knows whether we're platinum, gold, or silver. All those sort of things.
Well, that was part of the question there, Matt. So why is everybody going to have a client reference number? And I sort of understand why the club have done that. It's to firstly they know or they know the link with the client number, who it actually is. Also, as well, I believe that it could help with fair allocation of tickets as well.
Right.
If people with client reference numbers are, so if say we didn't have client reference numbers and the ticket went on sale and anybody could buy them, you could have people that have hardly ever been to a game who haven't got a client reference number just competing with the fans that go to every single game. So I sort of agree. In fact, I don't sort of. I do agree with the client reference number.
Having something attached to you when you buy a
part
ticket.
of it. So the club know that, okay, you're a loyal fan, so therefore you get priority. So it helps the priority windows as well, knowing
But
who's who.
again, we could talk about this all day there, but people give their client reference numbers to buy tickets when they know they're not going to games.
I know, Matt. But
And there's all sorts of things here.
I get it. I get it. I know it's not a perfect system,
No,
but this is life, unfortunately. People always find different ways of doing things. I sort of do understand it, but I understand those frustrations as well.
No,
the second part of that from David, you can answer this, Matt. What will the chances of me getting a ticket for a home game? And what do you think about ticket prices going up?
I can't see ticket prices rocketing up because Knighthead and Tom Wagner have said they won't. In the open houses, he said, the best way to create revenue for this club is through sponsorships and through other means. So I can't see it rocketing, but there's no doubt about it. We would be naive and ignorant to think every year there won't be 5-10% increases and incremental increases to our tickets. No doubt about it. The more successful this club gets, that the higher levels we play, those ticket prices will go up. We cannot get around that, absolutely. But on the other part of the question, it's going to be very, very difficult to get tickets this season. You have to be really fast. We saw Ipswich sell out within a day.
There's 20,000 season tickets.
There's 20,000 season tickets. There's a waiting list now for people that haven't got a season ticket. And there's no doubt about it. I would be surprised at actually now sitting here if we didn't sell out all of our competitive league home games.
I think without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time, but how many tickets are available? Let's be honest. We've got 20,000 season ticket holders. Let's say 3,000. I know that can vary, but 3,000 for the away fans. That's 23,000. Then we probably lose about 1,500 for the segregation.
Yeah.
So that's 24.5 on a ground that's probably about just under 30,000. You're talking about 4,000 tickets roughly.
You're talking the upper Gilmerick and a couple in the side of the Gilmerick.
So tickets are going to be really, really hard to come by. I can see us selling out every single game. I mean, you might get one that's on TV, or the best chance I believe for fans to go to games is cup games. Maybe I know season ticket holders will get first priority on those tickets, but not all season ticket holders go to cup games. We do. We'll go to all the cup games, but some decide that they prefer not to. That's fine. So there might be more tickets available for those types of games, or even things like the Trevor Francis Memorial. There's lots of tickets left for that. So I know it's a friendly, but it gives people the opportunity to get in and around the ground, experience the atmosphere and all that type of stuff. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Also, maybe I'm on my own on this, Dan, but they've made such an amazing fan experience now down at St.Andrews. Why not come down to the car park and the Tilton and have a pint before the game? I know it might be effort getting in. I get that. I completely appreciate that. And maybe Blue should consider start having in fan parks where they play the games as well. Because fans can't get in. I know there's actually that's that's not already a non-starter, isn't it? Because they have the TV rights won't let you to black out.
Yeah.
That's a shame. But I was thinking out loud then, it would be great to have a fan park playing the Blues game of some kind, and Blues fans could congregate and watch it while having a beer outside maybe. But
Yeah.
sadly,
if
sadly the TV rights won't allow us to do that.
I was going to say, you see, if only we could build a bigger stadium.
There you go.
But the problem with that is, though, she is away, and that's the issue.
People want to watch now.
Yeah. So,
Exactly. Okay, so next question, Dad, brings us on through Chris Lowe 4690. Thank you very much for your question. So, given the recent stack of quality players we've signed this transfer window, would you now be disappointed if we only finish in the top 10 and not at least the playoffs?
Well, we've said before, Matt, that our expectations in previous podcasts, and you'll know this, who are regular viewers will know that we've said that we thought that a competitive season, first season back in the Championship, will be top half, maybe challenging for the playoffs. I've changed my mind. I have now, based upon the signings we've made, and this is not arrogance, because part of me thinks, I need to hold back now because it's going to come across as arrogant, but I don't care. We have signed such good quality players. I think we should now be challenging for the playoffs. I mean, some people think automatic. That's going to be tough because there's some really sort of well-established clubs in there in terms of the ones that have come down from the Premier League, and we could, with a few more signings, challenge for automatics. So I would.
Do you think automatics? You're putting that out there as well?
Yeah, with a few more signings, and you know what it's like, Matt. Promotion and having a good season is much more than just about the players. It's about luck, it's about decisions, and all these things that go on through the season. So there's a lot to it. But based upon what we've signed, so at the time of recording, we've made 7 signings in the current transfer window, going back to Phil Neumann, who was a pre-signing. I think we should be expecting to be at least in the playoffs now.
By the way, I love your tone. I love the authority. I love the sudden assertion on it. But I'm not edging on the side of caution. I have said that we'll make the playoffs, and I still stand by that. But the question says, would you be disappointed?
If we didn't make the playoffs?
And I wouldn't be disappointed because exactly what you've just listed, Dad, refereeing decisions, injuries. How many times have we seen us dominate games for 90 minutes and then they just break once and get a goal? And the Championship is a very high quality league.
We can do that as well.
Of course we can, because there's a flip side to every coin. Of course we can. But my point in saying is the Championship is a very difficult league. And the question is saying disappointed. And if we didn't make it, I wouldn't be disappointed because we'd build on next season and we'd keep building forward and keep building stronger. But I'm still tipping us to make the playoffs. I still think we will. But the question said disappointed. And I think if we're competitive and a few things go wrong this season, or some things that look at Hull away last season with the arm. Season before. That sort of stuff happens and it can cost you points. So, it's a long old season. I'm still expecting us to do very well playoffs. I would love for us to push for the automatics.
Do you know what I'd love, Matt? I was just smiling when you're answering that question. I'd love for someone to ask that question to Tom Wagner. see what he said. Because I think he would give a very, very strong answer to that,
And that's why, Dad, I think we will make the playoffs in the end, because we have Tom Wagner, who's owning the club. We have Chris Davies, who's playing that amazing football, and we're making some incredible signings. But the fact we're back in... Think about it, Dad. We've been in the doldrums for 10 years. We were now a club turning it around. We're on the rise again, not to be cheesy or quote that tagline, which has been said. But I think we've got a fantastic season ahead, and I think we will make the playoffs. But would I be disappointed? No, I wouldn't. Yeah,
we're building nicely, and I'm not surprised myself by that answer, because I always try to be as rational and reasonable as possible. But you can't deny what we have done in this transfer window so far. You can't deny we came up with a strong squad anyway that could compete in the Championship at a certain level. We've now taken the next step, so why not make our aspirations higher? Because I think that the club are developing a squad that's going to be exceptionally competitive in this division.
You watch that. We'll get 2 or 3 marquee signings. We'll ask that question in 2 weeks. Me and you both will get an automatic promotion. Absolutely odd time for automatic promotion. But no, I think good answer, Dad. I like the sudden change in assertiveness. Love it.
Just being honest, Matt.
No, there we go. So we got one final question. Well, 2 final questions, but they both tie on into the same theme. So Matthew Fleming 2002. What do you actually think Chris Davies will do team and formation wise? And can you give your thoughts on where you see Stansfield especially playing, as I think this is going to be a talking point for fans and the club? And then we have another question, Dad, from Keith Wood, which is closely linked to Matthew Fleming's question. He says, do you think we could see the formation 4-1-2-3? Cochrane, Neumann, Clara, Bright, Iwata, Doyle, Pate, Gray, Kyogo and Stansfield. That, to me, would be exciting to see.
Well, we know that Chris Davies, what we saw last season, he's consistent with his formation, wasn't he? I'm not convinced that he was going to move away from that, to be honest. Now, I do like the players that we brought in, and also the potential to look at formation changes, because we've got players now with different attributes. So
You love the idea of wing backs, don't you?
I do. I'd love a 3-5-2. That would be one that I think would be a fantastic attacking system, and we've got the players to do it. But what Chris Davis has done is developed the squad as a 4-2-3-1, hasn't he?
He has.
And that's the way that they played against Sevilla in the pre-season friendly.
He's not moving.
He's not. I don't
in
think
my opinion, he's not
no,
moving.
I don't think so. So to answer that question for Matthew, what do you think the formation will be? I think it's going to be the same. I think we'll play the same style and type of football, but with more players added. Now, the question about Stano is a very, very interesting one, and I've heard a lot of Blues fans talking about this. How do you play Stano now that we've got Kyogo? Because they're both out and out number 9s, aren't they? We had this conversation last season with Alfie May and Stano.
I agree, Dad. He is an out and out 9. Sorry, they both are out and out 9s, but Stano can play on the wing, as in Chris Davies has played him there. He has played there in his career as well. A lot of Blues fans don't like him out there. But you are saying that Stano is a number 9 or not on the pitch?
No, I'm saying as a number 10. We could play him as a number 10. I know we tried it last year a few times with Alfie at number 9 and Stano at number 10. But I think with different players around him, I think, because I like Stano to have space to run into, because he's got a burst of pace, hasn't he? That number 10 would suit him really, really well. But what Stano has to learn is what he did with Alfie sometimes. They both got in each other's way a couple of times when they played together. So if Stano's coached correctly to playing that number 10, he could potentially be that. But I think what Chris Davis will do, I think he'll interchange them both at number 9. But you can only have one of them at number 9. Celtic fans, and we have fantastic. When we did the introduction to Kyogo, a lot of Celtic fans commented on that, and I'd said in that podcast that I think he could be a good number 10. He had all the attributes. No. That was tried. He's wasted at number 10. They say, he's an out and out number 9, and they know him better than us. So I think Kyogo will be our number 9. I think Stano will be our number 9. But if he wants to play them together, I can't see Stano now being out wide with the players that we've got.
Yeah,
obviously we've got.
And also, he's not good at. He's not a winger.
No. So for me, Kyogo number 9, Stansfield number 10. But if there's injuries and suspensions, I think we'll see Stano in that number 9.
I think Kyogo number 9, Stansfield number 9. Whoever's best plays.
Yeah. Simple
as that. I don't want Stansfield in the 10. I don't want Kyogo in the 10. I want them both to be number 9s. They both battle it out, and whoever plays the best gets the position.
Yeah,
I'm going for an old school with it. I don't want round pegs in square holes. I don't want players in positions they don't play just to make them fit because we've spent money.
But that's what happened last season with Maine Stansfield.
Wear that number 9 shirt wears the number 9 shirt.
Yeah.
If that means Stansfield has to sit on the bench because Kojo's putting them in, he has to sit on the bench.
Or vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yeah,
100%. The best player earns the shirt and plays. It's as simple as that. No one's above the badge in the club. And for me, no more square pegs in round holes.
Because that happened last season, which is the point I'm making, is that, there's occasions when Alfie and Stano were put in the same team and it wasn't effective as it could have been. It took a little while to work that out, I think. Yeah. And in the end, Alfie started getting less game time, didn't he? Coming on mainly off the bench, wasn't he? So that's an interesting. So I can't see that. I mean, the suggestion of a 4-1-2-3 by Keith is an interesting one, which is a variation on pretty much what we do now, isn't it? So that's slightly more attacking, isn't it? Having 4 at the back, one which I presume is a defensive midfielder, two creative or passive midfielders. Then you got your 3, and then you got your 1. So it's a very slight tweak on what we currently do. That is. Yeah. So that could potentially work actually, but I honestly don't see Chris Davis diverting from forward. I'll be very surprised if he does, and I'll be very interested to see what happens if he does decide to have a little tweak of the system. But.
Yeah. A decent team selection as well. Just to jump on Keith Wood's comment there, but I can't see him changing formation. For me, I think it's going to be the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, me too.
But that's it, Dad. As I said, I think you agree with me with thanking everyone's sentiment of thanking everyone for your comments and questions. Any final thoughts?
No, just some great questions, and we love these podcasts. So thanks for sending the questions in, and as always, let's have your comments below.
Yeah, the summer's always a really good chance to do these, isn't it? Yeah. Engage with the fans and answer these questions. So we love that, and thank you very much for taking the time to sending the questions. And as I said in the intro, if you haven't seen your question here, we are doing a follow-up to videos to this as well, so it may feature in one of the videos coming up too. But as always, we'd love to hear from you. from you. Please let us know your thoughts and comments in the section below. If you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channel pages. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, but also on Spotify as well, so you can listen or watch us on that platform as well. And if you haven't already, don't forget to press that big red subscribe button and press that bell notification so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad, will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.